is Michelle Charters, and I'm the Director of Project Immunize Virginia. We're here at the 11th Vaccine Update Conference, and with me is Dr. William Atkinson. He's a medical epidemiologist for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I'd like to ask you a few questions, Dr. Atkinson. What trends do you see regarding vaccines?
Well, in general, we have very high coverage levels among children. We in fact have some of the highest coverage levels we've ever documented in the United States, at least among children younger than 5. But having said that, there are still places, it's not 100%, it never will be, and there are still children who are unvaccinated, and as long as there are, that poses some risk to those children. We haven't done as well with some of our older children, adolescents. Our coverage levels are lower for vaccines recommended for adolescents, and certainly we have a lot of work to do to improve vaccination levels in our adult populations, particularly for newer vaccines like the pertussis vaccine for adults.
What can we do to stress the importance of vaccines and their safety? Are there any best practices that you know of that happen across the nation?
Well, I think that some of the safety concerns aren't quite as noticeable as they were in the past. In the past, there's been a lot of pseudoscience and false information about things like autism and vaccines and mercury in vaccines. Good studies have shown that those concerns really are unfounded. We've not found any association with those, and I think most people understand they feel better if they know there's science behind our recommendations. We tell them the vaccines are safe. They don't just have to take our word for it. We can send them to the studies. They can look at the information themselves. And I think there's quite a good body of good scientific data now showing just how safe these vaccines are. That doesn't mean there won't be more concerns in the future. There always are, and we will address those as they arise. But I think what parents want is they want honesty. They want to know what is the science, what is the reality, is there a risk, what is it, and what can we do to avoid it. And I think we owe it to them to provide as best of information as we can.
Why are we seeing more and more outbreaks of infectious diseases that could be prevented by vaccines?
Well, none of these diseases, except smallpox, is truly gone. All these diseases that we vaccinate against are still around, not necessarily in this country, but they're all around us. They're a plane ride away. And anytime unvaccinated people are sent out or go into those areas where the risk is higher for those diseases, there's a good chance they're going to get infected, and they eventually come home. They come home, and so a lot of folks go out not realizing there's a risk, and they become infected outside the United States and bring those diseases back to us. So that has been, for measles in particular, has been our biggest problem in the last several years. Because we don't have as good vaccination levels for pertussis, for whooping cough, among adults, we still have cases, and pertussis is a difficult disease to control. It requires 3 doses in a very young child, and that takes a few months. And it's if adults get infected because they hadn't had a booster dose for a long time, they can get the disease, go back and expose their very young child. So we've concentrated on making sure we continue to vaccinate young children on time. We've made a lot of efforts to try to get the pertussis vaccine, whooping cough vaccine in particular, into adolescents and adults, the folks who might expose those babies before they have a chance to be immune themselves. So each disease kind of has this nuance. We want travelers to be immune. We're recommending be sure you're up to date on your vaccines if you leave the country, because these diseases are out there. And we try to emphasize to keep children on schedule and make sure that their parents and their brothers and sisters are also vaccinated to help protect the baby.
Thank you, Dr. Atkinson, for sharing your information today. And thank you for watching. Please join us on our website, www.immunizeva.org.